Hi everyone, Julian here with a tutorial for Design 211, project number 4, part C. In this video, we're going to go over how we can create plotted drawings in Rhino using the Make2D function from a NURBS model that you've created in the workspace. Um, so basically, once you've turned your line work drawings drawn in Rhino into surfaces. Um, Basically, what we can do is create these orthographics um, from the Make2D function. So here I've illustrated on the side in an isometric view how this is working. So basically, if something is your model is in plan, the south, north, west, and east here are showing how the front view is going to be your south elevation, your north view is going to be your back, the west elevation is going to be the left view, and then the east elevation is going to be the right view. And you can select all of these here using the set view. So here we could go to set view left, which would give us our west elevation. So first thing first, I'll get a elevation created using this left view. So you just want to type in Make2D and then select, you can select hidden line and scene silhouette. So there's a little preview right here that shows what's happening. So hidden line will automatically generate the hidden lines for you, and then scene silhouette will also generate this kind of contour around the object. So usually check those two, and then I'll press OK. And then once you've done that, the drawing will appear in plan view. So here we can see our object. We can turn the print display on in order to get a bit of a sense of the outlines on the object. We can see the lines. These are the hidden lines that represent the thickness of the object, getting to see through it. And then what we can do is we can do a text object, and then we could do a caps west elevation, and then we do 1:2 scale. Can throw that there. And then we can take this here and put this in the corner, bring it down a bit. And then also part of the assignment is to create these on an 11 by 17, right? At 1:2 scale. So I can take this, hold the shift key, make sure that gumball's on, this button, hold the shift key, click on this box, and then you can do 0.5, hold the shift key again, enter. Then now you've got, oh, just got to fix this. You should have a 1:2 scale version of your model that's ready to be thrown on a sheet. So just got to repeat this for the 5 different drawings. So again, go back to all my views. I'm going to do my right view here, or my east elevation. Press OK. Then I'll go to my top view here. I can see that one. And then I'll take this, oops, hold shift, 0.5, scales it down. I think I'm just missing like a little line here. And then maybe you're missing some of the line work that you're supposed to have around the object. So you could do an extend command, extend those lines. You could also find which layer they're on. So those are on scene silhouette. and that's a 0.5 line width. So I'm going to take that and then create my lines as so. And there you go. So now we can see like the outline of our object there. Maybe I want that space like an inch or something. Here I can name this my east elevation. Same thing, go back here. I'm going to set my front view. So this will be my south elevation. I'll make 2D. Go back to the plan view. And then I'll scale this 0.5 again. Then create another text tag here. And then I'm going to do my north elevation there, or the back. Make 2D. Then add that to my list of drawings here. You could also do a scale 2D. You should just be able to do 0.5. Nope, never mind. I mean, you could do a scale 2D, and then if you knew this distance, you could do 14 centimeters. Or sorry, then we divide that by 2, so we do 7 centimeters. And then that would also give us 0.5 or 1 to 2 scale, but I just prefer using Gumball, the shift key, and then I find this quite quick. So that covers all of our elevations. Something I like to do is like add like a bit of a separator of some kind to the text. You could put it on a different line. You could put a dash, like putting like a break, just so we can separate the information. So once that's set up, we have all our elevations complete. And then the drawings, the assignment also calls for a plan drawing. So easy enough, right? We can just do from the plan here, make 2D, and it should appear in plan. And then I'm going to, once again, 0.5, hold shift, enter with Gumball. And then we've got that one all set. Which is a bit interesting how that's coming up. Seems like we would need a scene silhouette just because it's picking up on our base, but maybe not picking up on our object. You could also have these kind of intermediary lines, so maybe I want a 0.35 stroke line that I can set here. And then I could pick a line such as this one and set that line. It should come up with the line thickness, but anyhow. So once you got all 5 drawings here, this part is almost done. This is all going on a tabloid sheet, so what you can do, I would create a new layer, do tabloid. I can do like that, and then make this like a bit of a gray color. Create a 17-inch wide and 11-inch tall document. And like the assignment specifies, you want them all in a single line. Which means in my case, we gotta scrunch them a little bit. Together, so I'm just gonna bunch them up a ½ inch apart. Should give me enough space to add my plan here. Maybe I want to find the middle of the page, which is here, and then maybe I want to group all of these together and just make sure that that's centered up. So find the middle of this base using my gumball, the O-snap, and then moving it to that center line. And now we have all those drawings. All of our plot drawings on the tabloid sheet. So the next thing that the assignment calls for is an 11 by 17 with a materialist rendered perspective. So I'll show you how you can do that as well. This one, I might just center it in the center of the sheet as well. Okay, perfect. So next thing we want to do is going to be quite simple. We want to take our object. If your object doesn't have thickness, like if it's like a paper model, you might have surfaces, but then you can turn those into a paper thickness by using the offset surface command. And that's what gives you this thickness that we're seeing here. For the Arctic view, that's something that you want to have. So like, let's say I have a rectangle here. It's all just line work. I can turn it into a surface. And then in order to make it like realistic, I can do 1 millimeter offset surface and then see how we've got the thickness there. So that's how all this was done. So for the next part of the assignment, I'm going to switch the view to Arctic right here. See how we got this. We've got this shading, so this is like using the computer rendering engine to render the shading on the object rather than doing it by hand. I'm going to hide this text. And then there you go. So we have object in Arctic view, it does specify a perspective, so I want you to find whatever perspective is like the most flattering for your model. For this model, I'm spinning around using the shift button and my mouse. I feel like this is kind of interesting, like seeing the openings in the model and seeing the shadows, how those are working. So when you're happy with what you have, let's say I'm happy with this, what you want to do is create a view capture to file, and then you want to set like a really high resolution for the viewport. So you can actually set custom sizes, so you might want to do like double 1080p, so that gives you 4K. So I'm going to do a 4K image. Press OK, and then I'm going to save this. So this is using Gabby's model, so we'll save that there. Arctic view, or let's call this the material list. Perspective model. And then screenshot PNG. Okay, so now that I've got that, I can go back to my top view and kind of see how that might look like on a tabloid sheet when we're on InDesign. And we can take that photo and drag it into Rhino space, throw that on a sheet. We'd of course do this in InDesign, but you can kind of get just like a little sense of like maybe what you want to do for the assignment. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to have it as if I'm plotting it in InDesign in Rhino. The final part of the assignment here is it's going to ask us to create a 3D render parallel section in part C. So how we do that. So I'm going to go here into my perspective view, and I'm going to create a clipping plane, and then I'm going to hit vertical, and then I'm going to draw the clipping plane point to point in the length, and then I'm going to set the height. What I can do with this is actually move it and cut through my object. So maybe I want to cut exactly halfway through the object. Well, I can take the point here, I can bring it halfway, and then I can get a sense of it like this. And then when I'm happy with it, I'm going to hide the clipping plane. And just like the other Arctic view, this is will be like a perspective screenshot. And then we can get a sense of that. Another thing too that we can play around with is with the clipping plane itself. We should have these here. So basically we can turn the clipping plane on. If you can't see the clipping plane cutting through, then you might have to, like you see here, I'm clicking on and off the front. You might have to play with these. We can also flip the direction there. So let's say I'm happy with this. I can do a view, capture the file, perspective here, and that's going to be at 4K. So I'm going to call this my, we'll just call it what it was. Go back to our 3 tabloid sheets here again. And then I'm going to take this drawing, and then add it here. And then what you could also do is poche the parts that you're cutting through, right? Because this is a section. So if you went into Illustrator, or if you went in Rhino here, there's also like custom display modes for the clipping plane, so you can make it just automatically show like a cut line. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll show you just very basic how to hatch. So if I set this hatch to a black layer, and if I bring it all the way up the sorting order, maybe I set this one as a photo layer. Set it as so. Let's just see what's happening here. So we have the hatch, but then it's not showing there. Well, essentially you could do this just like in Illustrator or Photoshop, right? And then you could create the poche for where we're cutting through the base and where we're cutting through the model. Again, Rhino's just not ideal for this, but you know what I mean. So then that gives us all 3 of the drawings that we're looking for. And feel free to do any post-processing and titling, right? So just like these elevations, you can title in InDesign. All of your drawings. So this is the materialist rendered perspective. And this is your you can always just hit this color wheel. This will be the parallel section. Or we can edit the text on the side here. All right. Well, I hope that was useful. and we'll see you in class. Let me know if you have any questions, how I can assist, and have a good rest of your day. See you.